Good afternoon, everyone. It's Jim from Paranormal Fellowship again. Sorry it's been gone for a while, just crazy things with the holidays. So I've been thinking about what should we talk about today? Well, first off, let me go back to who I am in case you guys are a first-time viewer. Jim. I'm the founder and only member of Paranormal Fellowship. I've researched every type of paranormal. It doesn't matter if it's ghosts, spirits, demons, whatever you want to call them, UFOs, UAPs, aliens, Bigfoot, cryptids, whatever. If it's something that's unexplained and it's out there and someone can classify it as paranormal, I go out and I try to find it. I think our science in this world just doesn't have all the answers no matter what they say. Alright, so let's see. The first couple videos I talked about had a lot to do with ghost hunting and different ghost experiences and things like that. I think I even brought up one about UFOs or something, one of the ones about my UFO experiences. And again, these are either experiences that I have personally had, or it was a direct interview with someone that I'd met along the way on a paranormal adventure somewhere. So I think this one, I'm going to give you one that was told to me by someone when I was out in the woods. So there's this area that I investigate that's close to me, that's a Bigfoot hotspot that I consider. I have found numerous footprints. I found trackways. I have found, I've heard wood knocks. I've heard whoops. I've had branches and rocks thrown at me and acorns thrown at me in this area. Some people have said that they've seen Dogman in this area, the Shenango Valley Dogman or Dog Boy, whatever you want to call it. I personally haven't had any experiences with that. But this area is an area where many years ago, I was involved in a pretty serious motorcycle accident that left me pretty messed up. Broken shoulder, broken ribs, broken neck, a couple skull fractures and brain injuries, broken left side of my face. So it wasn't much I could do. So against doctor's orders, I'd have to wear the neck brace and I'd go out and I'd hike the woods. And I had, like I said, considerable activity out there, finding footprints all year round and all kinds of things happening. Well, one of the times I was going out there, there's this little public hiking trail, I guess. It's a real short one. It's not even 3 miles. It's like 2.7 miles, all flat. And now they've actually paved the whole thing. So that was back then. It was still, only one part of it was paved. The part I was on was all gravel, which was, in my opinion, a lot better on the knees and shins and the feet than this pavement is, and a lot easier to maintain. But I was walking, and there's this gentleman, and I seen him, and he had this big old sidearm plastered on his hip and everything, and so I stopped and talked to him, and he noticed my shirt. It wasn't this exact Bigfoot shirt. This is from my friend of mine, Brian Seach, and Centers of Cryptids. He has a couple of different groups that he does. But I was wearing a Bigfoot shirt, and I start and talk to the guy, and the guy looks at my shirt, and and this is a big dude. I mean, I'm 6'1", and this guy I was looking up to. I mean, had to be at least 6'4", 6'5", somewhere in there. And he was muscular. So I'm talking to find out he's a retired Marine. He was in charge of, a couple companies, and, he was special operations. I mean, this guy was pretty hardcore. So we're talking, and he finally, I could see something's eating him, something's bugging him. So finally he asked me, he says, what's with that shirt? I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, do you believe in it, or you just like the shirt? And I told him that I believed in Bigfoot, and I've had Bigfoot encounters, which is the best one I'm not going to get into just yet. I'm going to make you wait for that one. And I said that I've actually found some stuff out in this area, and that's why I'm out here looking. And then he asked me, oh, where's my gun? I said, I don't carry one. I said, never really had anything more aggressive than throwing some sticks and stones and acorns at me. And he just shook his head. He says, you need to leave here right now and go and get yourself at least a 44 or 45. I'm like, what are you talking about? I said, I'm out here all the time. He said, well, I'm in the process of moving. and he tells me where he lives, and I'm not going to say his name or where he lives. That's private with him. And he was probably a couple hundred yards away from where the trailhead is. So I said, okay. I said, you walk here. I can see why you're here. He said, yeah. I says, well, my wife and I used to come down here every morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, and we'd hike this trail, to get our day started. We'd just, nice, easy hike, get the blood flowing. And then after work was over or whatever we had doing that day, then we'd come back and we'd actually exercise or jog it or run it, whatever we wanted to do. But a nice little walk in the morning was good to get the blood flowing. I said, oh, that sounds cool. He says, well, the one morning we're walking up right about here, and where this path is, the way we're facing on the left-hand side, there's a little bit of an up, like a mound, I guess, from a ditch that goes up, and then it's a real heavy wooded area. A lot of new growth, so it's like a lot of jagger bushes and things like that. And then on the right-hand side, he goes a little through the jagger bushes a little bit, a couple feet, and then it drops down into a swamp. He says, well, we were walking here, and we could hear something coming through the swamp. We can hear this sloshing coming around. So we thought it was a deer or something. I mean, we don't even have really bears out here. We might get a bear come through town maybe once every decade or so. So he's not really thinking anything of it. And he says, and he looks up just in time to see this thing step out of the swamp and up onto the pathway. Now, he stepped all the way over, the brushy area. He just stepped right over, stood in the pathway, and turned and looked at this guy and his wife. Now, mind you, I told you this guy's like 6'4", 6'5", big, Marine. He's tough. And he says, this thing was looking at us, and I had to turn and raise my head and look up, and this thing just sort of looked down at me, and then it let out this snarl, and then it turned and walked off the step and into the woods over to the left and disappeared. He says, the crazy thing is, I had my 9mm SIG in my back of my pants. He says, I was afraid to pull it because if I shot this thing, it would only make it mad. And that's what I was out there looking for without a weapon of any sort that day. And I have found its footprints out there in the exact same spot he was at, the exact same area that he was telling me about. And I've actually found 3 different sizes, the biggest being 19-inch, and then I found a 16-inch and a 12-inch. Barefoot, not shoe prints, barefoot, so that's bigger. So be out there. Like I said, always look and check for, the unexplained, try and make it found. But be careful. I'm not saying go out and do Dirty Harry and carry a 44 Magnum with you or whatever, but always be aware of your surroundings and have a plan. Till next time, y'all. Peace out.